So I just watched this video of this woman who made her own bread without buying any yeast from the store. And the way she did that was she did some research and she found that back in the day, before they had instant dried yeast like they do now, they used the yeast that was already found on the skin of an apple, and they soaked an apple in water for a few days so that it fermented, and that made it so that the yeast grew, and then you could use that apple yeast water and then pour it in flour to make your own bread. So I decided to do that myself just to see if it would work, and this is how it went. This is what it looked like on day one. After I chopped up an apple, I put it in a cup of water and then let that whole thing rest for 24 hours. This is what it looked like on day two. As you can see, the water is a lot more murky, and when I opened it up, there were a lot of bubbles that were forming, and that's a sign that the yeast is active, because as they're metabolizing, they produce a lot of carbon dioxide as a byproduct. And this is what it looked like on day three. When I opened it up, there was a lot of gases that released, and there were a lot more bubbles that formed. So on day three, I strained all of the water and then discarded the apple, and then mixed that water with a cup of flour, gave that a whisk, and then added a tablespoon of sugar. I then poured the mixture into a jar and then let that rest for 12 hours before I opened it up again. This is what it looked like the next day. As you can see, it rose a lot, and when I opened it up, it kind of made a fizzing sound like when you open a soda can. I added half a cup of that mixture to 2 cups of flour and about half a cup of water, and then kneaded that for a while until it formed a ball. After that, I decided to make another ball of dough, but this time with wheat flour. I then let both rise for about 2 hours. As you can see, they roughly doubled in size, which is exactly what I wanted to happen. With the first ball, I decided to make some cinnamon rolls, so you can see me rolling out the dough and then smearing some butter all over it, and then finally sprinkling some cinnamon sugar all over it. I cut the dough into some strips and then rolled them up and then placed them into a muffin tin. With the second ball of dough, I decided to make some pizza, so I flattened out the dough into a crust and then poured some sauce on it. This is what everything looked like before I put them into the oven. And this is what everything looked like when I took it out of the oven. It was so good. I highly recommend trying this out.